Commander is not casual. Commander is a Magic the Gathering format that is advertised as a casual format, where you can play just about any card from the 30-year history of the game, where everyone and every style is welcome, except that you can't. And it's not all welcome. Both are true. How? Let me explain. I got into this game by playing against an Dragon deck and a Slivers deck, notorious for being overpowered decks. I, however, had no context for that and enjoy high power, so to me this was simply the game, and I built decks to that level, to play and enjoy the game and give the people I played with something they didn't have to hold back against, so they could enjoy the decks that they had built as well. I did that through the years of talking to other players, sharing builds and ideas, looking at different creators online, and the one constant that everyone tells you is ways to make your deck consistently perform. Redundant effects, lower mana cost cards, a certain ratio of lands, board wipes, ramp, and draw. And all of this is great advice to make sure your deck does its thing and you get to play. But what no one tells you, at least until it's too late, is that when your deck is consistent and efficient in Commander, you're now obligated to warn people that your deck actually works, and to what level it works. And depending on that and the local meta, your playstyle and deck may not be welcome anymore. In this social game, you need ideally a group of 4 people to sit down to a table. While the rules guide how the game progresses towards an end, the means towards that end can be extremely varied person to person. Which makes sense. Everyone is different. Some people love a difficult and challenging game. Some love showing off synergies, empowering other people's decks. Some just want to play whatever random cards that caught their eye. And some want to wheel and deal through a game, and some want to trick others into losing to them. Regardless of the reason, the point is, when there are so many different reasons and ways to play, of course there will be contradicting matchups and playstyles. This is why so many people started saying X card isn't fun, or X playstyle isn't casual, or X deck is too strong, X commander shouldn't have been printed. It all comes from people not accepting that others have different ways to play and different ways to engage with the game, and trying to bully them into seeing things their way. And that's what I heard both online from creators and in person from certain players. So how can it be casual, I thought? There's so many rules to be allowed to play your deck with people, or you'll get gatekept out of the game. You can't play anything. You aren't welcome unless you follow their rules. I put time into building a deck only to have it be too consistent or oppressive, to be judged by the commander and not the actual deck, or to be told it's cool to play, which I appreciated, only to watch people mentally check out during a turn. This was because I was trying to fit in places when I just simply don't. So what did I do? At first I took the advice you see everywhere online. Build and play in a way to get invited back. But what does that mean? For me, I constantly took apart my decks and made new ones. I pulled punches and played so the people around me wouldn't feel those negative experiences of not getting their deck to do its thing. But I hated that regardless of that effort and being honest about the strategies I want to play, I rarely got to play those strategies. When you become more specific in the way you play and the way you want to engage with the game, by consequence, you'll have a smaller pool of people to play with. You like slow, long games, you won't have fun in fast, high-powered ones, and vice versa, obviously. And there are people who enjoy both. Those people who do have the largest group they can fit in with because they're willing to put their goals on the back burner to fit in and play with whatever is at the table. Or rather, their goals can easily match with whatever's at the table. I don't really care what people plays. While I'm not exclusive to high power, I do enjoy it a lot, so I accepted that the amount of people I can play this game with isn't as widespread as I originally thought it was. There's so many people playing this game with so many great builds, but at the end of the day, you gotta be honest with the table you're playing at, and more importantly, with what you're expecting from a game while you're realizing not everyone will want what you want, and that's okay. All this in mind, it's not casual because people will complain, people will disagree, argue, judge, and try to steer others to their frame of how the game ought to be played. But it also is casual, because there are people out there that treat it as what it is, just a game. They don't care what your deck is, what the strat is, they just want to see magic happen. It just might take a while to find those people. If you're like me, you may just have to take a step back and not be able to play the game as much. Have you experienced anything I talked about? What did you do? And what advice would you give me? Let me know in the comments below.